Still plenty of football left to play, obviously, especially now that we're all the way into conference action. But have you been notably impressed by maybe one specific player that could lead to, or maybe is leading the Heisman conversation in your eyes? Or is there someone that has a head up right now? Or do you think that we're going to maybe get further into October and that race is going to kind of differentiate itself?
Yeah, I usually try and wait for this one and let the season really play out. And I don't want to have any anchor biases or anything. I just want to wait until mid-November and then really start to put a list together. But I got to pivot here to get it to Nebraska talking here, so I'll force it in with Dylan Raiola. Not so much
Very nice.
not Heisman favored or anything, but I am very impressed with him. He looks more mature in his second year, extending plays, really sharp passing wise with 75% completion. A top five quarterback rating in the Big Ten. And yeah, I mean he's a huge net asset for this offense. I think it's the best passing quarterback Nebraska's had since Joe Gans, 2008. We're going back 15 plus years there passing the ball.
We love
So
Joe.
with this game coming up, I know you guys were talking spread, and I was on Adam Carricker's show, the Carricker Chronicles, last week during the bye. I had it Nebraska by 14, and right now, I mean it's and he was really skeptical of that. But you see, Vegas has it 11, 12 points, and I'm right there with them. I think you have a solid advantage here, stronger on both sides of the ball. They do have a nice quarterback themselves with Aiden Childs, but I think just top to bottom roster wise, I like Nebraska a lot here at home.
Oh, okay. So I'm glad you brought that up because I was going to talk about the spread on this game with you coming up here next because I thought that seemed like a lot. It seemed, open at 10.5. I've seen it 11.5 now. You had it at 14 though. So the when I was watching Michigan State, the biggest difference I saw is I thought that Michigan State pass defense was very vulnerable to what Nebraska might try and do. Is that the biggest thing for you? I know you said you think they're stronger on both sides of the ball. Is there one thing where you're like, oh, Michigan State's going to have a ton of trouble here?
Yeah, well, when you're looking at power ratings, I mean, first you want to start with some talent, some recruiting, and Nebraska's got them covered there
Mm-hmm.
from both the recruiting trail, the transfer portal, looking at NFL draft watch list players. I mean, Nebraska's got them in the talent category. And then when you look on the field, so far the margins have been a lot better for Nebraska. Two blowout wins, the win over Cincinnati, which guys, that's increasing in value pretty quickly. That Cincinnati win, the
Mm-hmm.
way we've seen Brennan Sorsby continue to play against other defenses. So I like that. And then, of course, yeah, tough one to get against Michigan. But you look at Michigan State, their margins are not as impressive. Barely beat Boston College, which is looking like arguably the worst Power Four team in America, at least a bottom five team in that category. Needed a 2 point conversion in overtime to beat them. And then blown out by USC. So, yeah, looking at stats, advanced stats, their pass defense is bottom 10 in a lot of metrics. So I think Raiola and this passing offense is going to get to their 300, 350 yards plus. That's going to be where you take a huge advantage on them. And I don't think that Childs and that offense against Nebraska's defense can keep pace. So all that factors in. I had it, 13 and a half, 14 points last week, and they were both on bye. So that kind of holds into this week.
Mm-hmm.
Similar line.
Brent, that's kind of the same similar question that I'd asked yesterday too to another one of our guests. I was curious just how Aiden Childs and that Michigan State offense. I know you just said that the numbers don't feel like they can keep pace, but is there something in those numbers that tell you that Michigan State may be able to take a couple of chunk plays or something from the Nebraska defense over the course of Saturday?
Yeah, well, watching Nebraska against Cincinnati and against Michigan, one of the issues that I think they need to clean up is defending against mobile quarterbacks. I mean, Sorsby had a decent night running the ball, and then Underwood had that breakaway touchdown run. I think he had about, 50, 60 yards rushing total on the day. But a guy with Aiden Childs, he can extend the pocket. He's elusive himself, kind of like Raiola, but he even tucks the ball more and runs. He's more of a rushing threat. He's got 150 yards rushing on the year over 4 games. So that's one category. I'm a little worried with Nebraska. I think over the bye week, they probably have worked on that. And I want to see them in the trenches match up too, because Michigan really did what they wanted, running the ball, almost 300 rushing yards. I think Nebraska, their talent against Michigan State's offensive line is a little bit more even. So I think that's more an advantage tilting towards Nebraska. They have injury questions too all over the place with Michigan State. I remember when I wrote about them 2 weeks ago, I think they were down 5 or 6 guys, and it was all questionable. So I want to look at that later in the week with the injury report coming out, whether those doubtful guys from 2 weeks ago are now probable or questionable, or what the deal is, because they were banged up heading into their bye week.
Yeah, I mean, Jonathan Smith just said yesterday that their starting left tackle, Stanton Ramil, will be out for that game. So I have to imagine that's going to factor in pretty heavily as well.
Yeah, we'll see about that. And I think other receivers were banged up, and we'll see. But I do like some of their talent. I think it'll be a competitive game at least by halftime. And I'd like Nick Marsh at receiver, Jack Velling, a great tight end. So I think it's a decent test for Nebraska. Although I'd have it at a 2-score margin. It's kind of a step up from those non-AQ teams, obviously, but it's not quite a Big Ten contender. So another game. But I said this on the Character Chronicles too. If you're Nebraska, you got to take care of October. This is where you have a chance to take a next step as a program. Win these 4 games you're supposed to win. This is no slight at Minnesota, but if you're Nebraska looking in the mirror, you want to be the team that wins these 4 October games. I mean, you view yourself as the favorite in all 4 of these, and you're going to need to stack those wins now. It gets tougher in November. So, you want to start this October off right, get that W, and I think it could be 7-1 at the end of the month. I mean, that should be the goal at least.
Last one from me. I'm curious your reevaluation of Maryland, and we have talked a little bit about it just with you here. I know Ravi had brought it up, and Ravi and I have discussed it a little bit about where that game re-ranks for Nebraska just in their remaining 8 games for the Big Ten play. What have you seen so far from their play? Because really the only litmus test we kind of have is against Wisconsin, and Wisconsin is clearly not up to their own standard.
Yeah, well, they're a surprise 4-0. I think coming in, it was pretty much consensus among the magazines to have them towards the bottom of the Big Ten, if not dead last. They were rated by the portal and did not backfill at the same clip. So really, all their stock, all their blue chip, they were all putting it all in on their quarterback, and he's performed really well for a true freshman. He's a local kid from down in that area, the DMV, so he's playing really well. Their defense statistically has stood out to me. Top 10 in a lot of national categories, albeit against a softer schedule. So we're going to learn a lot when they play Washington. I think Washington will beat them pretty good here. But I will say, if you're looking at future spreads and all that, this one has shifted a lot because back in the preseason, I had Nebraska as a heavy favorite against Maryland. And now that's shifted down to about a touchdown at this point as we speak. So expect a shift after the Maryland-Washington game result comes in. But as of now, yeah, that margin has tightened up a little bit. A little surprise team down there in Maryland.
Okay, so last one for me. How likely is it, as I'm looking at UCLA's remaining schedule, that they don't win a game this year?
Yeah, they're on 0-12 watch for sure.
Stacking up, right? Like it doesn't look great.
Well, they just missed probably their best opportunity, I think, was Northwestern.
100%.
That was,
yeah. Wow.
albeit being on the road, that was in front of maybe 5,000 fans or 10,000 fans. I mean, that was their best shot. I mean, obviously the UNLV and New Mexico games were good shots too, and they lost by double digits in both of them. So, yeah, looking ahead, I've got them as underdog the rest of the way and heavy dogs pretty much. The only one that's in the margin could be Maryland, a team we just talked about. It's at UCLA. You got Maryland traveling 3 time zones. Maybe you catch them. But no, they're 0-12 watch. I tweeted that out, I think, mid-September. I was on that one. And then they fired their coach, and it went downhill even worse. So they're in trouble, and I don't know what the answer is. There's no fan support out there. I don't know if they have the right appetite for college football anymore. So we'll see what happens going forward.
If you're a head coach, would you rather take UCLA or Oklahoma State?
I'd go Oklahoma State, because people there love college football. You're amongst the people that love it and want to support you. They've shown in the last 10, 15 years they can be a national player, competitive. UCLA has not shown me that. And then looking at fan support, I mean, you got that Boone Pickens Stadium rocking with those guys slapping the signs on the side of the stadium. UCLA is empty, man. It's just, I don't know. So I'll go Oklahoma State.
There's no darker night sky than Oklahoma State. Like when they used to do those Bedlam games and they would like pan up, it was just dark. I mean, there was like no lights out there, no street lights on in Oklahoma State.
I got to add that to my list of future road trips. I got to get out there.
I mean, good luck. I'm going to pass on Stillwater.
I'm pretty sure it's a road trip. I don't think you can fly into Stillwater. I don't think there's any national airports.
Might have to rent a car from Oklahoma City. Brett, we appreciate the time as always. We'll talk to you next week.
Thanks, guys. Have a good one.
Thanks, Brett.